Hello, welcome to An Abundance of Books. My name is Julia and today we're doing my 5-star predictions. I debated doing this at all. I feel like I don't actually have that many 5-star predictions right now, but I went through my whole Goodreads and the number ended up being 10 exactly. So I figured that must be fate and we must have to film a video now. As with all of my TBRs or predictive content, this is mostly going to be based on vibes. I don't know anything about synopses. I don't want to know anything about synopses. So you're just going to have to go with me on this. So we can go ahead and get started with the only book on this list that I own physically, Constance by Matthew FitzSimmons. This is about clones. The only way she can save her life is to solve her own murder. So I think that this woman wakes up and she doesn't remember the last couple of days what happened to her, but it turns out that her old self has been murdered and she has figured out, I guess. After a routine monthly upload of her consciousness, something goes wrong. Okay, yeah. Enough reading of synopses. This is going to be 5 stars. I love clone stories. I've been dying for some sci-fi recently, and I think that this is going to be a big win. I'm looking at this face in the viewfinder, and it's weird. I feel like I should block her, or we'll just cover her with a face. The next book is The Kaiju Preservation Society by Scalzi. This is something that I've been anticipating for a long time. I think it came out last year, and every month I'm like, I should find a way to fit that into something, and I just never have, but I think that it's going to be great. I think this is based on my love of devolution, which was so close to being perfect but just didn't quite make it there, that I'm hoping that this does it. What do I know? The title, and that's it. And Scalzi. I haven't read any Scalzi, but he's prolific, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Next up is The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. Really excited about this one. I've read a number of T. Kingfishers in a number of different genres, but this one is portal horror and also taxidermy, I think. It's something about this girl who goes to work at her uncle's curio shop slash museum and portals. I know that it is one of the more beloved T. Kingfisher books, and I think it's going to be great. I think it's a really interesting idea to put the horror in it. Next up, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. It is shameful that I have not yet read this because it's going to be 5 stars. I'm going to assume it's the same as a lot of books in this category. A group of friends, probably 6 of them, who went to school together, probably university or like a very prestigious high school, and one of them has died and they're all coming back together for a reunion or something, and then questions from the past are brought up. I assume it's a dual timeline, and this one I think is based on The It Girl by Ruth Ware, which is a very similar premise. Also, like, If We Were Villains, that kind of stuff, and this was a 4 for me, so I'm hoping just for this a little bit elevated. And also, of course, based on The Last House by Ashley Winstead, which I really enjoyed. Did some really interesting things, but again, a 4-star. I'm hoping for the best. I know I said I didn't own any of these books, but it turns out I own a lot by the authors. The next book that I think is going to be 5 stars is The Fiancée Farce by Alexandria Bellefleur, based on this collection, starting with Written in the Stars. I love this one. I think it was 544 for the series, and this one I've been following her on Instagram. She's been promoting it a lot, and it sounds like it's going to be really fun. It is a sapphic marriage of convenience, fake dating, something something. It's going to be great. Then we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is a romance with ghosts. I think she's a ghost writer and she falls in love with a ghost. If that is not what happens, then I rescind my 5-star, but if it is, then like, yeah, that's gonna be perfect. I've heard some buzz about it and I love the cover, so I'm just really excited to get to it. Then we have Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. This is probably the most recent addition to the list. This is based on Kayla read it recently, and then a friend of mine read it recently, and I love the direct-to-reader style that it's going for. It looks like it's laid out, your main character is narrating, and every chapter is called like my brother, my dad, my wife, and it's spoken very direct reader, and I think it's just going to be great. I think it's going to be really fun. I hope that there's a good mystery in it. It just sounds like my kind of thing, especially when you only know about titles. You just sort of pick the best titles. have one purely based on hype. I don't think I've ever actually heard someone talk about this who's read it, but everyone wants to read it and I am among them. It is episode 13 by Craig DiLouie. This is about a ghost hunting show, I believe, and they're supposed to have 14 episodes. It's either they're supposed to have 14 episodes and they only have 13, or they're supposed to have 12 episodes and there's like an extra thing. I think it's 14 though, and something happens that means that they can't finish all 14 episodes and they have to end on 13. And what is that thing? No idea, but it's going to be 5 stars. Then we have probably the book that I'm most excited to read on this list. It's one that's been kicking around for over a year now, and it's another one that I keep trying to put on TBRs and it just doesn't happen. But this is The Paradox Hotel by Rob Hart. This is about a hotel that is unstuck from time and also a murder mystery. It sounds like my perfect combination of things. I mentioned I'm dying for more sci-fi and I think that this could be really good for me. Hopefully it's like, it has a really fun tone to it. I hope that it doesn't get too serious, but like, it just, and it's called A Paradox Hotel, so like it's one of those books that'll get you thinking about like how could this possibly go, and then just sort of inevitably end up in a paradox. It's very exciting. And finally we come to book number 10, The Eden Test by Adam Sternbergh, author of The Blinds, one of my favorite books. I believe that this was his debut. This came out in like 2017, so I specifically have been waiting for a follow-up for a long time. And it sounds like The Eden Test is about a couple who go on a couples retreat. It's 7 days, specifically tying into the Eden bit, but then something spooky is happening on this retreat and I have no idea, but I loved all of the twists and turns that The Blinds took, and I think that this has potential to be really good, and having that religious element is something that I really enjoy in books, and it could be incredible. I'm really scared because I feel like I'm the only one who's talked about The Blinds, and maybe I'm the only one who likes it, but I need this book. I think it's going to be incredible. I don't see how it isn't going to be incredible. All right, there you go. Those are all of my 5-star predictions. When will I get these done? I don't know. Looking at the list, they're all top priority things, so maybe in the year, but it's already May, so what do I know? Let me know if you have any outstanding 5-star predictions, how you feel about any of the ones on here, if you want to influence me to have lower expectations of these books in order to maybe have a better time. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!